From Ashland, Oregon, home of William Shakespeare and progressive politics, and broadcasting live from the Southern Oregon University Digital Media Center and the RVTV studio, it's the So Not So Late Night Glamour Dave show, and recorded before a non-existent studio audience with a skeletal crew of certified public access producers. You can expect to see tonight's guests, whoever they may be, the Glamour Dave Comedy Players, and the Rogue Valley Public Access Orchestra. Now, here's your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow.
All righty, hello Rogue Valley. Welcome to another edition of the So Not So Late Night Glamour Dave show. I'm your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow, and we're doing another live attempt at public access lowbrow comedy, and produced on a $0 budget. So tonight is going to be a pretty special evening for me because I have the benefit of having three of the most wonderful women that have come into my life in the last 2 years through my work here at RVTV being part of tonight's show. So tonight I have the privilege of having Regina Ayars, fellow RVTV producer, being my guest sidekick for the evening. And my first guest for this evening is fellow RVTV producer Wanda Borland, who is the director for most of my Rogue Artisans and Crafters shows. And then this is for the first segment this evening. And then in the second half, I have fellow RVTV producer Lynn Likens coming on. And so three of the finest women to have come to my life in the last 2 years. And so it's going to be a fun night. So let's get this show on the road. So hello, wonderful ladies. Wanda,
Thank you for
Regina.
the wonderful introduction, David.
Yeah,
I think
well,
it was very flattering.
Well, you ladies are, you're extremely supportive of my work. You've turned into wonderful friends, and I just love you for who you are, because you're just.
Thank you
you're both,
very much.
yeah.
David,
So
how sweet.
yeah. So Wanda, you and we're pretty active with stuff in and out of the studio. And
Yes.
a couple of days ago, you asked me, what the hell are we going to talk about? And I just said,
Well, I didn't quite put it like that.
well, yeah, you're a lot nicer in that kind of, compared to
But
me.
I was wondering, what are we going to talk about?
Well, we just talk about our stuff going on here at the studio and out of the studio. And, we can count on Regina to interject.
Well, I'll chime in.
Yeah,
I'll chime in.
you know.
We could talk about Wanda's side gig, her documentary that she's working on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Strength of a woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
we
working
could.
with Beck and Duel, one of our
Yes.
fellow producers and friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Becken has a cameo appearance in your intro.
Yeah, that's right.
I
yeah.
have a cameo
That's right.
appearance in the intro
That's
also.
right. Yeah,
So
you were
does
both.
Lynn.
That's
Becken
right.
has that lovely, what do you call that, waist pack on?
Yeah, yeah. I used to wear one of those when in my teenage years and when I was working the flea market scene. Yeah, that was like an essential tool actually.
What did you do at the flea market?
Oh man, we sold just about everything. It's like there was a period in my life when we did that. My family did that for several summer seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a family affair.
That's right. Yeah, we would back when the Starlight Theater was still around here in the valley, and we would on the weekends they would open it up for flea
now,
marketing.
You're talking decades ago.
Yes, we are. We don't need to go how many decades really, but it was a while ago.
Well,
And
I am a lover of flea markets.
Yeah.
I love flea markets.
yeah, and plus I also did for a couple of seasons at the flea market there in
Phoenix?
Talent or Phoenix.
Talent?
Yeah, the A1 storage there. I think it's in Phoenix.
So Wanda, what was your best find at a flea market?
I
Real find.
have this lovely box, and it has a burnt carving of a tree, and yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, good. Did you get a good deal?
I don't remember. It was at the Eugene flea market, which I love that one.
Okay.
So probably, I mean, that's one of the things we love flea markets.
That's
for,
right,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I got some Patrick Nagel prints at flea markets, that were.
Patrick Nagel.
Yeah.
Has he been on your Rogue Artisan and Crafters?
No, he's.
That's why I don't know him.
No. Actually, Patrick Nagel, he's a famous graphic design pinup artist, and he used to do work for Playboy magazine.
Oh.
But he died in the mid '80s from a heart attack when he was like in his mid 30s, and his story is kind of always resonated a little bit with me because he was the type of artist that really didn't have he'll say his eating habits were similar to mine.
Oh, okay, we know
All
what you're talking
Yes.
about now.
So, and one day he was invited to do an exercise segment on his local TV station in his area, and
It wasn't at RVTV.
No, he is down in California, right? So he agreed to come on to this exercise show, do a segment. He got done. He walked out of the
heart
studio,
attack?
got into his car, and had a heart attack and died.
So
But-
Well,
shows
no exercise for you, David.
exercise is not always that healthy for you, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to belittle his passing, but that seems rather ironic.
Yeah, it is.
Sad and
Yeah,
ironic.
but he's one of my favorite artists. I've collected several of his prints and posters. I think I
So
got like
you-
around 14 or so. So
You have about 200 favorite artists.
yeah, I do. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's art's always been a very strong element in my life. When I was going to college at the university back in the 80s, it was. I had a lot of art classes, and my political science advisor said, why don't you just switch majors? Because I had so many art classes.
Well, why don't we get back and focus on our guest,
Yeah, well,
David?
yeah.
So,
You're trying-
Wanda, tell us about The Strength of a Woman. I really would like to know how that's coming along.
Strength of a Woman, we have season 1 pretty much wrapped up.
Great.
If that's ever possible. Seems like there's always more and more to do. So
Yeah.
we are developing our promotion and marketing material now. Well, we also, Strength of a Woman, we interview women who have inspiring stories of what they've experienced in life as a woman, who are their biggest influence women-wise in their
Role
life.
models.
Role models. And inevitably, these stories, there's challenges and heartbreaks or circumstances that they overcome,
Right.
and that's really how they gain their strength as a woman. And it's really fascinating to hear the women, and hear their stories unfold. Yeah, it's just, I am inspired by these women. And I know that their stories are going to inspire women and people who listen to them.
Aren't you one of the interviewees?
Well, that's how I first came to the project. JC, Joseph Curl,
Yeah.
who we all know here because he is also an RVTV producer.
indeed.
He asked me to come in and tell my story. And so I did, and the experience was so powerful and cathartic. And then, gosh, maybe almost a year came around when they approached me, the executive producers, Beck and Duell, where Becken and JC approached me about being a director for the docuseries. And it was a perfect time, because if they asked me a year ago, I wouldn't have been ready.
Uh-huh.
I was just barely ready to be able to tell my story. And so it took me a year to, I don't know,
That confidence, you have to build the confidence in yourself before you can expose yourself like that and take
yeah,
those
that's true.
risks.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, whether, for anyone that deals with depression, trauma, and other, life issues, I mean, it takes quite a while to kind of get to a point where you can feel comfortable enough to, like, express and deal with those issues with someone to kind of get what you internalize and get it out there, right? So, yeah, I mean, because I
Yeah.
deal with depression, and that's taken me quite a while to kind of deal with my issues and stuff. So,
Well, you're going to continue to deal with
yeah,
it,
that's right.
you know?
Yeah,
Yes, I think we do.
Yeah.
We'll have issues to deal with until we die.
That's correct. Yeah.
But the stories, these women, all various life challenges that were telling their stories, you know. The decision to have an abortion, sexual abuse, depression, just whatever you can imagine we as humans go through, these women have gone through, and they tell their story well.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I'm very excited about the release of the season 1.
When
Release these stories
will
out
that
today.
happen?
Well, we're thinking early January 2020.
That's around the corner.
It is around the corner, so we're
Yeah.
busily working on our promotion and marketing material.
So how are you going to promote it? On Rogue Valley TV?
Rogue Valley TV and KSKQ.
Good.
We've done 3
Some
interviews.
collaboration.
Yes. Facebook will be a big platform for us, and we're still developing ideas on how to really get the word out there. So if you guys have any hints you can give me, please send them my way, and all the crew too.
Yeah.
Send them my way.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like platforms like YouTube. You could do a YouTube channel for the series. You could do a Vimeo channel for the series. Those are, 2 other platforms to get the stuff out there. So,
Yes.
You've got a lot of ways. When I get an email from you, David, half of the email is all of your websites and your YouTube channels.
yeah, I do have a bit of a long signature.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that, because if I ever need to print out an email from you,
Yeah.
it always takes 2 pages.
Yeah, well, I have a long signature. What can I say?
Maybe you could reduce the size of the font a little
Well, maybe.
bit.
Well, that's an idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Think about us.
Well, you gotta take every element of your online experience to. If you've got stuff to promote, you gotta do it everywhere, and that includes using the signature of your email. So it just happens that I just got a lot to promote. So.
Well, you've got more shows. Except for David Bruce, I think you have the most shows on Rogue Valley TV.
Well, technically I've got 4 series, but only 3 are really active right now because Gems of the Rogue Valley is on a bit of a hiatus. But with those 4 shows, I'm only as 1/3 the producer that David the Bruce is, because he's got like 12 or plus or so. So,
Well, we've got to talk about, there's a little difference, I think, in producing a studio production
yeah.
and then producing field productions, which is how we would call what David the Bruce
Yeah, that's
does.
right. Yeah.
Field production and public domain videos. So I'm not sure if it's an even field to compare.
Well, yeah, there is a difference for sure, but I at least like to use the difference to just get more humor out of the situation between me and David. So it gives me a chance to give him a bad time. So.
How are you giving him a bad time?
Well, where he is really active in what he does, probably as much as I am with my stuff here in the studio. So,
Very true.
But still there is definitely more involved in trying to bring the details together for a studio production, even like a lowbrow comedy show like this. So.
Well, David the Bruce's, his programs are really well produced.
Yeah, he does a really great job with his field production
yeah.
stuff. I mean, he really has a good mastery of the video editing software that he uses, and he really knows how to bring the elements together with all the content that he collects, and yeah, so he does it good.
He's quite the expert in the area of public domain.
Yes.
Fair use. He's the resource to go to if you have any questions about that.
Yeah, he's been, and I've gleaned ideas from what from what David does and his approach, and it's gotten me to want to try and develop a couple of show ideas for 2020 that will be kind of along that same
More
line.
shows, David?
Well, they're going to be a little more educational-oriented kinds of shows.
Oh, now you're going to compete with Girl Talk. Come on.
Well, you know, we got to together, you and I have to compete against John Letts. That's a big hurdle to
You know,
overcome.
John's the only one in his category now.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've come over to news and politics, which is where you're at.
Yeah,
So we're competing.
yeah.
I don't have to compete with John anymore. But I won last year.
That's right, you did great, yeah. So.
Well, this competition we're talking about is RVTV annually produces an awards show, Southern Oregon Television Awards. And
That's
so
right.
that's what we're talking about
That's
here.
right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the next
That's
one.
coming up?
The next one coming up is.
February?
Is February 8th, and so that'll be
2020.
broadcast, yeah, they'll be
Excuse me.
broadcast live here from the studio. It'll be the 4th annual Southern Oregon Television Awards, and I'm executive producing the event. And you and I, you know, all the three of us are together on the planning committee for that, along with my mother, and yeah, you know, we
Of
got a
course,
lot
your
of,
mother,
yeah,
yes.
we got a lot of issues to deal with to get things planned properly, but it'll be a good event.
It'll be another great awards event.
Dave,
Yeah, God, Mike?
what's that spinning behind you?
Oh, wow, this is our new segment. This is the Glamour Dave Show Wheel of Mystery. It's as good of a title as we could give it. So,
Okay.
so Wanda, you get to
Do I spin the wheel?
it spins until you say the word stop, and God Mike stops the wheel, and then we find out what we're going to do next. So
Stop. Surprise.
Oh, we have a surprise. What is the surprise for this evening, God Mike?
Today we have cotton candy.
Ah, okay. So Wanda, you'll be getting a bag of cotton candy.
Where? It's in a tree. I think it's in a tree someplace.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
it going to
right.
drop off someplace? Oh, does cotton candy grow in a tree?
It's falling
does-
from the tree.
it does
It's
on
a
this
money
show.
tree.
So right there.
So instead
is
of
your
money, I
surprise
get cotton
gift.
candy.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. How sweet. Oh, gosh.
All righty. Is there? We can
Gee,
do a Regina.
Thank you, Cosmo. I mean, thank you.
God, Mike.
Is that what God sounds like?
Yeah. On this show, it
He
does.
sounds like Cosmo Tagato?
I know. Yeah.
Who knew?
So Regina, you can take an opportunity to
Okay.
to do a spin here. So just tell God, Mike, when to stop.
Stop.
Oh,
Awkward.
an
Awkward.
moment. We can have
Okay.
an awkward moment.
And who starts that awkward moment?
Well, it's a little iffy, you know. It just kind of develops, you know.
It kind of develops. Is God got anything to do with that?
No, it's all.
Oh, it's our
It's-
job to
it's-
be
I
awkward.
just don't know
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do. It's kind of awkward. With someone, we need a director or something.
well,
Maybe the floor manager can
You
cure
know-
this awkward moment for us.
yeah, you know, it can be an iffy situation. Sometimes awkward moments are kind of poorly done. Sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, that was really awkward.
They reveal something.
That's right. They
you
can
know,
sometimes reveal weird things.
we would never have revealed before. Maybe we could each tell a secret.
Oh, well, that could get
That could be really awkward.
that could get really scary awkward. I don't know. We want to go that far.
Dave,
I
Yes,
don't have
God,
any
Mike.
secrets.
No secrets for you.
Dave.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, God,
Dave.
Mike. What time is it, God, Mike?
it's 20 minutes into the show, Dave.
Ah, okay. Well, one of the things that we can do, we have an opportunity to toot our own horn, or we can do, you can do a trivia question to try and win a small cash prize.
The guest has to do
That's
that,
right,
correct?
that's
Not
right.
me, the guest.
That's right. This is the choice of the guest. We've
Is
already
there
gone
another
th-
choice?
Well, we've already done the awkward moment. That's one of the typical choices. So we've already gone through that, and kind of poorly, I think. So,
Oh, let's do the toot your own horn.
okay. All right. So now there's two ways of tooting our horn these days. So that's my horn. The blue one's always mine. And let's see here. I got like other colors here.
You need a white one, so there's red, white, and blue.
Oh, here. Okay, so these are the
Oh,
three colors
okay.
that are readily available. So we can toot our own horn.
Sorry.
So you pick your choice of color.
Oh, okay.
There. Okay.
The green.
So
Oh, okay, red for me.
okay. So we just take this opportunity to play our horns.
That's very awkward, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, one of the things I've done.
There, we did it.
We did
did it. We tooted our own horns.
Yeah. I
Oh, you
also
got a
have-
harmonica.
Yeah. So, you know, so this is if we want to kind of like, to test our skills, with these. I haven't ever gotten to it yet, but it's like, it's just another thing to try and do, for a
Okay.
stupid moment
Bob
here.
Dylan used to play the harmonica.
Yeah.
You
So
did?
Dave,
yes.
you're not Bob Dylan.
No, that's true enough. Yeah. So where are we at now in the time, God, Mike?
We are 22 minutes into the show,
Well, we
Dave.
got another 5 minutes or so before we.
You brought the harmonicas out. And
Well,
then you put them
you know,
away. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's like, we'll just, it's an idea I haven't really fully explored yet. How to really, I was trying to do something that's kind of like a ripoff of Craig Ferguson because he does those with like real harmonicas. But.
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
You mean when he had a late night
Yeah,
show?
that's right, yeah. He's an inspiration for some of the stupidity that I attempt to do here on the show, along with Johnny Carson.
Well, I thought you used to have a question and people would get pennies
That's
if
right.
they
Well,
got the question
Yeah,
right.
see, because if you answer a trivia question, you get to win the small cash prize of 100 pennies.
Okay, let's have a trivia question.
Okay.
Do guests actually take that bag home?
Actually, you'd be surprised.
Or do they just leave it?
Most of the time, they give it right back to me.
They donate it.
They donate it right back to the
donate it
show.
back to the show.
Yeah, like I'm actually trying to give these pennies away, and I've only actually successfully done that like a couple of times.
If I win, I'll take the pennies.
Okay.
Because I like to put my pennies in a jar.
Okay. Well, there are two. Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
Lord, got to get up.
Yeah. Okay. So there are two categories: Star Trek and sports and leisure.
Star Trek.
Okay.
Now, we're talking about the original Star Trek, right?
Yes. Most
Okay.
of these questions are about the original series. So
It just takes a while to get to the question, as I recall.
it's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Crater Lake, Dave.
So we have the following question comes to us via Gmail from the show's ancestral home of the Nienow clan in Mapleton, Minnesota. So Crater Lake is the 5th oldest national park in the United States and the only national park in Oregon. The lake is 1,949 feet deep at its deepest point, making Crater Lake the deepest lake in the United States and the 9th deepest in the world. So your question today is, name the actor that played Spock in the original Star Trek Classic series.
Leonard Nimoy.
That's right.
Yay, pennies in your pocket, pennies
Yeah,
from
there
heaven.
you go.
Pennies in
Pennies
your
from heaven.
Small cash
I'm in
prize.
heaven. That's the wrong song, isn't it? Pennies from heaven, from... Those are old songs.
They are, they
Yeah.
are.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite
Great.
welcome. You know, it's small compensation for all the fine hard work that you do directing Rogue Artists and Crafters for me. So I very much appreciate that.
Well, I've received bigger compensation. You gave me a beautiful plaque
Yeah,
at the last award show.
that's right. Yeah.
So that was very nice.
Yeah.
Thank
well,
you for that.
Oh, you're quite welcome. It really is the least I could do for literally all the hard work that goes.
Oh, but you pay it back. You spend a lot of time in the studio crewing on other people's
Yeah.
show. You've crewed on many
Yeah.
of mine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's how it works around here.
That's right,
We-
yeah.
we all,
This is
work
really
on
a
other
great,
people's
a great
shows.
place, you know, because everyone helps each other. You know,
We're
everyone's
all
very,
volunteers.
that's right, we're all very
100%.
supportive of each other. And
Yep.
it's a great thing to see, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
And one thing you brought out recently is that once an RVTV producer, always an RVTV
Lifetime.
producer.
That's
It's
right.
a
It's
lifetime
Yeah.
membership.
membership.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's really a wonderful, this, for me, this place has been a very much a very transformative place for me. You know, so,
Yeah, I
You
agree.
brought a
For me
lot of
too.
energy to the station.
yeah.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, it's just great to, you know, you have your ideas and your visions in here, and it's wonderful then to lay it out to your crew and see it develop right before your very eyes.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I mean, you know, the resources that are brought here, you know, is a wonderful thing to allow anyone in the community, if they've got an idea for a show, to come here and get their idea expressed. Because there'll be,
Have to take a couple of workshops.
that's right, yeah,
10 hours and you got it. Well, and a few volunteer hours too.
yep, yep.
Yeah, but you really need those volunteer hours. You really don't know what you're doing until you're in here on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, but, you know, this is, you know, I can't really say enough positive things about RVTV and what it is in terms of its contribution to the Valley, what it offers to the Valley in general as a cultural element, you know, because in a way we kind of really document the culture of the people and places and events around here through the shows that are produced.
These
Well,
shows are on archive for
Yeah.
the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
Another rest of our lives thing. Okay.
Video never dies.
yeah, yeah, unless it changes formats. And then it's,
Okay.
you know, I know that the studio has a whole bunch of old programming that is pre-HD format.